If you've tried applying for a corporate job recently, you know the routine. Hundreds of applicants, multiple interview rounds, and a flooded inbox just to fight over a single entry-level desk. The digital, high-status career paths are saturated. When an employer has 500 qualified resumes for one position, they hold all the power. They dictate the pay, the hours, and the terms of your employment. But there is a secondary market, a sector of vital, unglamorous jobs where the math is completely flipped. When an industry runs out of willing workers, the employer loses their leverage, and you gain it. This chart shows the job market matrix. On the bottom axis, we have glamour and status. On the vertical axis, we have employer leverage. Your standard tech and marketing jobs sit right here in the bottom right. High status, but the employer has all the power. The jobs we are looking at today live entirely in the top left.
They lack prestige, but because nobody wants to do them, the worker holds the cards. We are going to evaluate these roles based on the actual numbers and entry requirements, looking at the ROI of positions that hire almost immediately. Career security right now means looking away from the crowded prestige roles and finding the labor inefficiencies that everyone else is ignoring. The first category is what we'll call zero-barrier oddities. These are positions like professional odor testers or virtual patient sitters, where hospitals pay you to monitor at-risk patients via video feed. The barrier to entry here is minimal. You don't need a college degree or years of experience. You pass a basic acuity test or a background screen, and you are eligible to work. That lack of friction means you can get hired in weeks, not years. Many of these positions offer part-time hours, and some, like remote standardized patients, can be done entirely from home. For zero-barrier jobs, time and capital input is extremely low, yielding roughly $15 to $25 an hour. The trade-off? The income ceiling is hard and fast. You hit a cap quickly, unless you transition to management. If you need immediate cash flow or a flexible bridge between careers, these jobs work, but they are not a long-term wealth-building strategy on their own. The second category involves roles that society relies on, but prefers not to think about, the uncomfortable necessities. A perfect example is a crematory operator. You might assume dealing with end-of-life care requires a mortuary science degree. It doesn't. Most states only require a short certification course that you can finish in a matter of days. You are working in a dimly lit, highly industrial environment. You are operating a cremation retort, dealing directly with death on a daily basis. The payoff for doing a job most people avoid is absolute job security. It is recession-proof. The current workforce is aging out, leaving a desperate need for operators, with starting pay around $46,000 a year. For uncomfortable necessities, you see a moderate input, a few weeks for certification. The outcome is a stable baseline. The cost? A high psychological toll and social stigma. You're doing emotionally taxing work most avoid discussing. This path trades social comfort and prestige in exchange for guaranteed economic safety. The third category is the high-yield pivot. Right now, this is best represented by data center HVAC technicians, specifically those handling liquid cooling for AI servers.
This requires a much heavier lift than our previous examples. You need to complete 6 to 12 months of trade school and secure specific EPA certifications to handle refrigerants. The reward for that upfront effort is direct access to the AI boom. Tech companies are building massive data centers that generate insane amounts of heat. They are desperate for people who can keep those servers from melting, and they are paying $60,000 to $88,000 or more to start. The high-yield pivot demands a high input of time, but the outcome is a direct pipeline into a rapidly expanding sector. The trade-off is delayed gratification. You must learn a complex physical trade before seeing a single paycheck. Everyone wants to mine the gold by building AI models, but the reliable path belongs to the people selling the shovels and maintaining the cooling systems. There is a wildcard factor attached to this entire shortage economy, the creator stack. This is the practice of taking your unglamorous job and documenting it on platforms like YouTube or TikTok. The psychology driving this is straightforward. A job that feels repetitive or gross to the person doing it is often fascinating to a general audience who has never seen the inside of a crematory or a data center. Building an audience around a niche profession can generate secondary revenue through ad share and sponsorships, which often scales independently of your hourly wage. However, the hidden cost is significant. You are signing up for a second full-time job. After finishing an exhausting shift, you still have to edit, script, and manage a digital business. There are also severe operational risks. If you film the wrong thing, you could violate corporate NDAs or healthcare privacy laws, which means losing the primary income that your channel relies on. Treating a blue-collar career as a content studio is a high-risk multiplier.
It changes the nature of what would otherwise be a simple, straightforward career pivot. Choosing the right path comes down to your personal constraints. You need to evaluate exactly how much time, capital, and risk you are willing to spend. This flowchart shows the shortage job navigator. The first question you have to answer is, what is your primary constraint? If you are strictly time poor and need cash immediately, you follow this path to the zero barrier roles. You sacrifice a high income ceiling for speed and flexibility. If you prioritize stability above all else and you have the emotional fortitude for it, you route toward the uncomfortable necessities. You secure a reliable paycheck by taking on the psychological weight others avoid. If you have the capital and the time to invest, and you want higher earning potential, you take the high-yield pivot. You trade a year of training for a specialized career with a high ceiling. And if you are willing to do the extra labor, the creator stack can be applied across all of these paths, acting as an income multiplier for your chosen destination. High-paying roles that require zero effort and hire tomorrow are rare. To gain leverage in this economy, you have to be willing to trade either your time, your comfort, or your social status. Stepping away from the saturated corporate market and moving toward these shortages allows you to trade status for stability and predictable worker leverage.